Hello everyone, my name is Nex, and today I'm going to show you how to build a Feedtape super smelter for Micro Bedrock Edition. Now, these are a thing that only work in Micro Bedrock Edition because you can't push furnaces in Java Edition, and by doing this we can save on a lot of iron, and this build only uses 8 hoppers, so you don't have to use 3 hoppers per furnace, which would be absolutely horrendous with this design, because this is 64 furnaces, so this is a 64 furnace super smelter. Now, as you can see, the way it works is that the furnaces are being pushed around, and this Feedtape design is faster than normal Feedtape designs because we are using observers, and observers, for some reason, if you use some sort of observer clock, right here I just have an observer looking at the same redstone dust that it is powering. If you have that, for some reason piston pushing is more reliable, because I don't know, observers have this weird property where they use pistons more reliably. And for the item distribution, since the observer is putting him at a weird speed, we just basically have a torch powering these droppers right here through the furnaces. So as you may or may not know, droppers can actually put items in furnaces, and we just use the torches underneath so that when the furnace gets pushed, this dropper gets powered, and when the furnace is back, it gets powered again, and then it puts whatever in there. Now, although this looks like the ideal super smelter, I can promise you that it isn't, because Feedtape super smelters have a few issues, which is basically unavoidable due to the nature of the furnaces being pushed around. First of all, in order to properly use it, you first have to put the actual smeltables in there. So I don't know what you're cooking, food or whatever, you just have to put it in there first and then wait until both of those droppers are completely empty. And then, first then you can put in your actual fuel, because if you do it before, the fuel would get wasted and stuff, because the furnaces will take time to get back to right here. And yeah, that will be a big issue, and that is why Feedtape super smelters are not very good. The second disadvantage is that you have to get a bit of math for the actual item input and whatever fuel smeltables. Basically, you have to get 1 stack of whatever fuel, but the fuel has to be able to smelt 1 or more item. And then basically you just see what amount of items, how many amount of items your fuel can smelt, and you multiply that by 8. And for example, if we have coal, so as you know, coal, 1 coal smelts 8 items. So we would have a stack of coal, and we would need 8 stacks of items. So if we do any less, it wouldn't get distributed properly and it would get wasted. So what I usually just do is 1 stack of coal and 8 stacks of whatever you're trying to smelt. That way we can keep it simple. And like I said, you first have to put in the smeltables. So I'm just gonna turn this on. And as you can see, it's running now, and we have to put in our actual stone first before we put in our coal. And we are going to have to wait until these are completely empty and everything is distributed properly. Now, after quite some time, as you can see, the number of items is going down, and we now have properly distributed items in every furnace. As you can see, we have 8 items in every furnace. And now we're just going to put in the fuel. So we have a stack of coal, and as you can see, that is going to get distributed properly and put into every single one of these furnaces, and they're going to be filled and be turned around by the Feedtape. And once they have finished smelting, everything will be collected down here. Now, I would just recommend leaving this on, and when it is completely done, you will have 8 stacks of whatever you want to smelt in there. Now, do keep in mind that what you are smelting has to be the same thing, so if they don't stack with each other, obviously that won't work. And to keep it simple, like I said before, just use 1 stack of coal and 8 stacks of smeltables or whatever. So yeah. Oh, and by the way, this thing is really loud, because there are the furnaces smelting, the loud clicking of the hoppers, and the pistons pushing. Now that you know the advantages and disadvantages of the super smelter, let's get into building this. So, those are the materials that you are going to need for this super smelter right here. Of course, this can be any type of solid block, and this can be any type of glass. Alright, so we are going to start with our output chest, so this is where all of your smelted items will be collected. And just make a 4x4 hopper square facing into that chest right here. You can place 2 pistons facing up next to that. Place 1 temporary block right here. 2 obsidian. This will prevent that the furnaces get pushed too far when the furnaces starts up. And now just place 1 piece of glass right here and get your redstone dust. So go 1, 2, 3. And just like this. And we can place our furnaces already, so just take your furnace, go on the other side and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And do the same in front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now get on top of here and you want to count up 8 as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And do the same right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now just get right here and you're going to want to place 2 obsidian like this and 2 temporary blocks like this. Now go up by 8 once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the same right here. You get the idea. And now you're just going to want to go 8 in that direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Place 2 temporary blocks right here. And do the same like this. And that will be all your 64 furnaces placed. And we can already break those temporary blocks. Actually, no, let's leave them there because that will make some things easier. What you're going to want to do now is just place a furnace right, not a furnace, a piston right here. And another piston right here. And you may want to make sure to do the same thing right here. So as you can see, the piston pushes up in that direction, so we need our next pistons right here. Just like this, obsidian on top, obsidian that side, and pistons facing down, and down as well. And as you can see, that is our basic circuit. Now you're going to want to place 2 redstone dust on top of there. Glass, glass, redstone dust, glass, redstone dust, glass, redstone dust. Get the idea again until you reach this top level right here. Now to make some things simpler, we can just break those 2 furnaces and place some droppers right here and here facing that way. They will basically put the actual fuel into the side of the furnaces. And just put the furnaces back just like this. And now place 2 salt blocks right here. And take your repeaters, make them face like this. And 2 torches. That will basically make a constant signal go through the furnaces and power these. And whenever the furnaces get moved, the droppers will be unpowered. And when they're back in place, the actual droppers will place an item inside again. So now let's place 2 torches right under here. Place 2 temporary blocks like this, so that we can make the droppers face down. And this is where the actual smeltables go. So now we can take some hoppers, just like this, and some chests. What you're going to want to do now is take some salt blocks and pull a line right here. As you can see, it should be 1 block higher than the chests. And then just take your observer and make it face that way. And we can already pull our line of redstone dust right here, except for this right here. Place our lever and power it. And then just place your last redstone dust right here. And then just, of course, break your temporary blocks, because those would prevent the Feedtape from working at all. I did make a small mistake though. Remove that right here and that as well, and place 2 redstone dust just like this. And as you can see, all pistons should be properly hooked up. Alright, so if we flick this lever, you should see that all the furnaces are going around, and that is the perfect time for us to test this thing. So we're just going to get 8 stacks of whatever, let's say some fish, and we're going to cook it, and some coal. So as I said, first put in all your smeltables, and the smeltables go on the left side. So just put in your smeltables, and as you can see, the droppers will put them all in there. Now all of the items are properly put in the furnaces, and now it is time for us to put the fuel in. So as you can see, we're going to put our coal in, and everything is going to start smelting, and it will all go around while smelting. and once it actually comes back here, it will start collecting. So yeah, this is pretty much everything you need to know on how to use this system. It is pretty simple, but of course it is very annoying that you have to wait for everything to go in there and then finish smelting and whatever. But I still think that this is a pretty awesome build because it only uses 8 hoppers. So if you're looking for some sort of cheaper super smelter, for example, that could be used early games. It pretty much doesn't use any expensive materials. This is the super smelter for you. And of course, I have an auto-fuel super smelter that uses a zero-tick bamboo on my channel as well, in case you're interested. Now, a few more things you need to know about the super smelter is that, well, it does use 64 furnaces. It is a little slower than a normal super smelter with 64 furnaces because while the actual furnaces are being pushed, when they are moving blocks, they don't smelt. So they just pause smelting and then they start smelting again. And yeah, this is just the furnaces finishing smelting. It doesn't actually stop. But yeah, there's also this advantage of observers sometimes messing up on realms. So if you are in an ocean biome, it is especially prone to messing up. But apart from that, this is a pretty good super smelter, I believe. And the fact that it is so cheap on hoppers, I think, makes up for those few flaws. Now, I think this is a pretty nice thing to build, but that is all up to you. And if you prefer classic super smelters, like I said, I have an autofuel one that is based on Iskal85's autofuel super smelter. But apart from that, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video and hoping that you get a ton of use out of this. But with that being said, my name is Nex and bye bye.